grinding and heat treating a maul head, and sharpening a chainsaw blade. William Hovey Smith, 2019. I'm the author of Crossbow Hunting and also Create Your Own Job Security. And these books are really about survival. My outdoor books about physical survival, that is putting food on the table, and my business books about economic survival. One of the things we have to do before we start tackling that big, heavy remains of that pecan tree is recondition our tools a little bit. And here's a photo of the subject tree that Matthew knocked over. As you can see, the head of this maul has gotten to be considerably rounded. And I don't have a handle for it, although I could rehandle it. But I'm going to use it for a wedge. And so right now what I'm going to do is use my grinder and dress up the head of this maul again. I think this wheel is going to be the best tool for the job, although perhaps we'll use an angle grinder if this doesn't work that well. We've shaped two sides of the head of the maul with a bench grinder, but this is really putting a lot of stress on that grinder. But I'm going to go ahead and take off the other half with an angle grinder. I'm going to put this in my vise and see if I can work on it better there. I have a cutting blade on my angle grinder, a 1/8 inch blade, and we'll see how this does. It may be too delicate for this course of work. Well, it is cutting through. We've undercut it from here, and we've diced some sections there. And so now we're going to try to cut this way and see if we can get rid of this mushroom. The angle grinder has given us what we needed so far as getting off those big mushrooms. So now I think we can go back on the bench grinder for the finishing work. On restoring our maul head, we have gotten rid of the mushrooms back here, ground this more nearly flat, and reground the edge here. And now the maul head will sit vertically. And if I use it as a wedge, it'll give a more nearly vertical strike and more impact. A fault of that is that temper on that is very, very soft. And it mushrooms a little too easy. I don't want to temper it extremely hard and brittle, but I am going to put it in my furnace and allow it to reach a heat and then air dry. And I think that'll give me the steel characteristics that I want. Not a super hard temper and not brittle it, but make it stronger and harder than it is now. Whilst my steel is reaching temperature in my furnace for retempering, I'm going to go ahead and resharpen the blade on this Portland chainsaw. As you can see, I already have the cover removed, and that just requires one nut to be taken off. These are very simple components. It does have a good bar and actually a good chain. So the chain just slips off the bar like this. The trick is, of course, when you put it back on, you want to put it back on the right way so that the cutting teeth are in the proper position. And that is with this edge facing the front as the blade is rotating this way. So we've got our sharpening machine set up on my bench, and we're going over and put it on it now. The way the sharpener works, when you turn it on, this cutting blade rotates. And you have the blade you're going to sharpen right here. And it's backed by this positive stop. When you bring the blade down, you pull this up, which closes this clamp and holds the chain absolutely in place. So that you bring it down and it hits just the edge of the blade to put an edge on it. You don't want to cut your blade off, you just want to put an edge on it. You adjust it in particular by using this combination of screws and stop nuts. Okay. Now that re-edges that blade. And then you just continue with all the blades that are facing this direction until you're done. Then you swap it over and catch the blades going the other way. It took longer actually to set up the machine than it did to sharpen the blade, and now we're ready to reattach it. Two things are that the blade has these index holes here, and one goes around this stud, and that allows you to tighten it. And this needs a metric wrench, and so we have same here. And usually this requires a little jiggling to get it right, and about 3 hands to hold and put this thing on and get everything lined up. So now you can go ahead and cinch everything up to fairly well, and it'll be okay. Alright, so now the blade is solid, you've got a little flex in it, so you're good to go. All it needs is power and some wood to cut. I've got the wedge in that round of the tree, and I've sawed through to the ground on the other side, and we'll see if I can saw through enough to get it broke free from this side. Our piece of steel is now ready to come out of the oven. So we're going to take that maul head and set it upright on that bed of ash and let it air cool. And the maul head itself will cool a little less rapidly and not be quite as tempered as the cutting edge. And it is very hot indeed. Okay, that's about as best as we can do. So we will just be content to let that sit. Our treated maul head here does show a little differential hardness, and we did manage to get the rear end of it shaped much better than it was. So now we're going to use it as an improvised wedge and see if we can do something with the bottom part of this branch right here. Well, finally, Between the two wedges and the extra sawing, we have finally got it broken free. It was this little bit right there that was holding it. What? Being able to break first this section of branch right here away from the main trunk and remove those other two pieces that are sitting vertical has allowed me to take at least 300 pounds of weight off the main part of the trunk, which I still have to work up. And so the combination of my wedges, including my rebuilt one from an old Maul's head, worked. Now I have a better chance of being able to cut the last sections of that trunk with my big saw, and also have a chance of getting a cable on it and rotating it so I can make some clean cuts all the way through. But that's something for tomorrow. All of my outdoor books like crossbow hunting, backyard deer hunting, extreme muzzleloading, and practical bow fishing talk about how to survive in the sense of gathering, preparing, and putting food on your family's dinner table. My newest book, Create Your Own Job Security, is about economic survival for you and your family, and tells you exactly how to start businesses as and when you need to raise immediate cash, accomplish medium-term objectives, and even later in life, find a business that you enjoy so much that you would do it even if no one paid you, and discover how to make money at it. These books are all available on Amazon.com and from your local bookstore. Now, grinding this Maul head did real good work towards reshaping it, and so I could use it as actually a wedge. For more information, my books, blogs, and more than 725 videos, you can go to my website, www.hoviesmith.com. For more information on my business books, go to createyourownjobsecurity.com. Good hunting and good eating from the outdoors. Goodbye, and God bless.